Welcome to the Help Her Be Brave podcast show, where we have great ideas on how you can help save lives. I'm Amy Ford.
And I'm Jessica Russo.
Today we're talking to sweet Sarah, who she used to lead Embrace Grace, and we just fell in love with her from the very beginning. Like the way she loved the moms, she was just all in.
Yes.
And so passionate. And she was a single mom herself. Mm-hmm. And so the moms just looked up to her so much because they're like, oh my gosh, you can do this. Maybe
she's just so authentic and transparent. And she's all the things.
Yeah, she's a little Southern Belle. She's so cute, but she's starting her own organization now, reaching just one, right? I think that's what it is. Reaching just one.
She'll tell us.
She'll tell us here in a minute. Let's bring her on. Hey, Sarah.
Hey, y'all. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I haven't seen you in forever, I feel like, but I love watching all that God's doing in you and your sweet little family.
Yes.
And your new married life. And last time, I interviewed you on our old podcast show years ago, and you were a single mama, and now it's amazing your husband found you, and y'all are doing awesome. So
y'all are adorable.
I know, you really are. You really are.
Thank you.
Well,
yes,
why don't you share with us your why? Why are you passionate about helping single moms? And I know it's tied to your story. So tell us a little bit about your story.
Yeah, definitely. So I did grow up in the church with a great family and great parents. But my why came more about when I was 19 years old. And I got pregnant with the guy I was seeing at the time, and we actually got married because I was pregnant. And then very, very shortly after, he kind of changed his mind and changed his path. And so I found myself pregnant and single and had a lot of choices to make from there on out for my future, but also for my baby's future. And turned out she was a girl, so the Lord knew I needed a daughter and a best friend through all that. So just after having my daughter and choosing life for her and life for both of us, really, I did finish college, and it was very much a struggle, but we did that together, and then moved out on our own, stayed in the area. My parents were still here, but being on our own and just trying to figure out motherhood and parenting, single parenting, and then kind of figuring out how to get even in the dating world. Are we still doing that? Do I even want to do that kind of thing? It was definitely a big struggle. And through the years of being a single mom and trying to, work in numerous jobs and living paycheck to paycheck, I really kept praying for God to show me or to send me someone, not a man, but I needed a woman who had already walked through these phases of life or had, found herself pregnant at a young age and had survived. I needed a single mom survivor at that point to walk with me and hold my hand and say, I've already been here. I know what it's like. I'm going to help you get through this. We're going to get through this together. And I continued to pray for that person and that woman as life went on. Years went on, and the closer I created my relationship with Christ, the closer that I walked with him, the more I could feel him saying through those prayers, I'm making her. And I didn't get it for the longest time until I really was still a single mom, but had a little bit older and had conquered a lot of things in life. And there's no way I could have gotten where I was without God walking with me the whole time, and completely dedicated my life to him. And I wanted to be in ministry and just really follow what God had planned for my life as a single mom. And he did exactly what I had heard those words say. And he allowed me to find Embrace Grace. And I started a group in my hometown at my home church that I had actually left for a few years. And I came back just months before I found Embrace Grace, and I talked to the minister there, and I said, I want to do this. I'm all in. I'm absolutely all in. You can ask me anything. And he was all for it, and I can't wait to have this here. And so I ended up becoming the single mom survivor that I had prayed for so long, and walking with so many young moms who are facing just a teen pregnancy or being a single mom and do that kind of stuff. And it's been absolutely incredible. So that's totally my why.
Yeah, I love that. So what was your experience? So you led in Louisiana, and what was your experience leading Embrace Grace? Like what kind of transformation did you see in all the moms that you were pouring into?
Oh, I could talk for stories for days. I'm in South Mississippi, very close to Louisiana.
Oh yeah, that's
but I'm
right.
in
I
South
forgot. Yeah. We just,
Yeah,
last time I hung
and
out with you, it was Louisiana, I think.
right. So we hung out in Baton Rouge, but
Yeah.
I'm in South Mississippi. But oh my goodness, stories for days. So I actually had, before I started Embrace Grace, there had been a few encounters with girls that I had gone to high school with who ended up being a year or 2 or 3 years younger than I am, and had reached out, and they were, graduated high school or that kind of thing, and said, Sarah, I know we don't talk, or I know that we haven't seen each other in years, but I just found out I'm pregnant and I don't know what to do. And there were situations that happened like that through the years before I started Embrace Grace. So
Like
that
God
really
was
led
already
me,
bringing you people. You were like already a
absolutely.
magnet.
Like I have stories that'll give you chills. I ended up, when I started my first semester of Embrace Grace, I had prayed for a specific job in a high school, and when I actually got the job the same year that I was starting Embrace Grace, and I had been really praying about, okay, God, just, I don't know how I'm supposed to go out and find these girls. What am I supposed to do? How am I going to approach people in the mall and be like, hey, are you single and pregnant? Great. But I had gotten this job, and I was like, okay, well, just use me where I am, Lord. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. And within the first few weeks, a woman had asked to come into my room. I was in a little bigger office area, and meet with a student. I was like, that's fine. I'm just, working on some stuff on the computer, et cetera, et cetera. And I had just heard a few words about their meeting. And the student left, and the woman was thanking me for letting me use my room. And I was like, I don't mean to, pry. I just kind of heard a few different words in there, and I was curious, is that student expecting? And she was like, yeah, she is. I work with, we have a whole county involvement program for students in high school who are pregnant. And she told me all about the program, and I was just like, oh my goodness, well, here's my name, my number. I just started this Embrace Grace group. Like, would you be interested in kind of letting them know that I'm here? And she was like, absolutely. And so I just, as soon as she walked out of the room, I just looked up and I was like, all right, God, you're showing off now. Like, I get it. I get it. He definitely leads you exactly where you need to be.
So good. And so you led for a couple of years, and what kind of moms were going through Embrace Grace, and what did you see change in them?
Oh, I love it. I've had a few students. I still work in a high school, so I've been able to create relationships with students who are finishing school. Our church through Embrace Grace, them coming in and kind of getting to know some people. We've had different people in the church who have donated to them in terms of our baby showers, or even like their senior dues were paid. So, we're so happy you're finishing school. Like, we're paying for all this, that kind of thing. And the girls just light up. And then we've had girls who, or young women who are in the workforce after high school, and just their transformation and realizing how loved they are, and not having to walk into the doors of a church and feel intimidated or feel uncomfortable. And we've heard that so many times with different girls walking into our church. So I love that. And, I'll tell you, I even had older women come in and ask if they can be a part of it. And I would say, of course, well, let's talk, let's have a conversation. Why do you feel led to this? And a lot of them had even experienced an early pregnancy in their life or an abortion, and they just want to feed into these younger girls and really help them find Christ and find, their purpose of why they were chosen to be this baby's mom and that kind of thing. So from all age ranges and all situations, Embrace Grace has really changed so many lives in our community.
That is
awesome.
Totally awesome. I love that. Okay, so now you have started something new recently. Now that you're married and kind of a new season, and we kind of skipped over the part you were an NFL cheerleader. for a while as well. Like you've done a lot. You're teaching. You've done a lot of stuff as a single mom, and I love it. And then all while leading Embrace Grace. And now
You're like, I've got this.
right. And then you got married a week before COVID hit, which thank the Lord it was before. And then now that kind of COVID's over, you're kind of starting to serve again. What is the new thing God's been putting on your heart?
We have the perfect pro-love project for you to invite your friends and family in on. You can host a Share the Love event in your home, church, or business. At this event, you will assemble love boxes, and then you get to hand deliver these beautiful boxes to your local pregnancy center. Love boxes were created to help single and pregnant women be brave and choose life. And you get to be a part of it. It's easy. We ship all of the items to you along with planning tips for your event, and you get to be a pro-love hero in your community. To learn more about how you can host, visit www.embracegrace.com.
Yes. Okay. So I'm starting a new ministry. It's still, fresh and young, but it's called Reach Just One Ministry. And my focus is really on everybody has a story and everybody has a story that needs to be told. And I think that so often when things happen to us, just as individuals and humans, we want to hold it in, and even if it brings a little bit of shame or that kind of thing, or fear or embarrassment, we don't want to tell our stories. But so many times through me, the 10 years that I was a single mom and the endeavors and adventures that God sent me and my daughter on, people were able to hear my story and say, I needed that, or I needed to hear those words. I needed to hear your story. Just in different phases even. I was an NFL cheerleader for 3 years for New Orleans, and then even went to grad school and got my master's degree, and so the education side too, and just the crazy adventure side. God has sent me in many places that has opened up doors for me to tell my story, and so my ministry, I'm hoping to highlight many different individuals from all over who have different stories and just share them so somebody out there can say, I needed that. Like I needed just one. And that's all you truly have to reach. If we could all reach just one person with our story. And the reach just one comes from when I started Embrace Grace actually. And there's a pastor in my church. It was like our first meeting. And he was like, well, how'd it go? And I was like, well, I had like 2 girls show up, and one said she was coming, but she didn't. And I don't know. And he was like, that's incredible. And I was like, okay, yeah. And he was like, that's awesome. Like all you need to reach is just one. You don't have to have a room packed full of people listening to you. You just need one. And that really changed my whole outlook on my testimony and my story. And man, if we can all reach just one.
That's so true.
Change my life.
That is so true.
Love it.
I love that. That's such a great idea. And giving people the courage to share their story, giving them a platform to share their story, and it creates a Me Too movement in different ways, depending on what the story is. But it's just like someone listening is like, oh my gosh, I'm not the only person that has gone through that or that's happened to me too. And courage is contagious. And when there's courage in sharing a story, it helps more people share their story. So it's multiplication.
Yes, exactly. I love it.
Yeah. Well, so whenever you were a single mom, what kind of support did you have that really helped you, or what kind of support do you feel like you wish you had? Because I know sometimes with being a single mom, it can take a village, and it sounds like you have great family support. But were there any churches or organizations that helped you in your walk?
Yes, in the beginning, being 19 and, fresh in college and that kind of thing, it didn't go over too well with my family. And that was very hard for us to overcome, very challenging for us to kind of get through. The relationship with my mom needed mending and that kind of thing. But through it all and the things that, we did overcome. I did have a very good village. As far as churches, I did leave my home church for a little while. I think when you're a young single mom, it's very hard to find where you feel like you belong.
For sure.
And in our church at the time, I was technically a college student, so I attended some college classes, and they just were talking about things that I really didn't feel like I related to at the time. I was like, I need y'all to tell me how to raise a baby, not how to do these college things. I'm past that. And so I went and found a young singles class and that kind of thing. And they were just a little bit older and still like kind of entering into marriage
You
or that
needed
kind
an
of thing.
Embrace Grace group and an Embrace Life group. You needed that.
Right. And so I just think I kind of bounced around churches after that and didn't feel it's just so hard to find some place where you belong. And so through all of that and different places, like I said, God just kind of called me back to my home church, and I felt like he was saying, you're the one that's going to change some things up around here. So let's go. And I was like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, you became who you needed for other moms. And that is so awesome. We always talk about here in Embrace Grace how it's so important for churches to have single parent family ministry or single mom ministry. And I hope that any pastors listening, I think that it's really important to hear that part of Sarah's story, because it's, she needed a place where she felt like she belonged, and she just kind of hopped around and then kind of stopped going for a while because it wasn't connecting. And that's why it's important for us to have these ministries that really connect and
intentional.
Reach. Yeah. And
connection,
meeting them where they're at. And that's what she craved and needed. And I love that she's like, okay, well, I'm going to change it up, which is awesome, Sarah. Totally amazing. And so, how can people connect? Or I know it's a baby ministry, like you said, but how do you have a website yet? Are there ways that people can connect to your organization?
Yes, absolutely. It's called, you can just Google Reach Just One Ministry. And I have a hashtag on Instagram, or my Instagram handle, Sarah Sims Williams. It's all on there. Like I said, it's still fresh. It's just mostly blog posts and that kind of thing right now. I did have a shirt, my first ever T-shirt I sold this year.
So official.
Yes, and the money went to my tuition because I'm in seminary now.
Wow.
The Lord has called me to great things. I'm excited. But so it's still fresh, but you can go check out the website and scroll through. And I'm not a huge technology buff, but I've tried really hard for this website.
Hey,
you did good.
You got the heart, and God will meet. He'll bring you people that are techie, and maybe someone's listening right now, and they're just like, "Oh my gosh, I can totally help her, beef up her website or help her with her social media, whatever that might look." But you know what? You are really good at lifestyle photography. You and your daughter's pictures.
Adorable.
They tell stories without even, you're great at writing the captions as well, but they tell such beautiful stories without even words. You have a gift for sure. So all you need is just a techie person to help you out. So maybe someone's listening is like, that's me. I am techie.
I'm going to be the one.
I'm going to be the one. So connect with Sarah. Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing your story. And we are so proud of you. We're cheering you on. And I love that Embrace Grace, in kind of a way, inspired this new endeavor. And
just one.
Yeah, Reach Just One. That's so good. But Sarah, thank you so much for being on today.
Yes, thank y'all so much for having me. I love it. I love y'all's voices.
Love you too.
I love how when she talks about her making the choice for life, that she chose life for both of them. That's so powerful, coming, like we say that all the time, but coming from a single mom that made that choice. I was able to make the choice to save us both. Mm-hmm. That's so powerful. And I just love the way that God gave her baby steps along the way, and how she just kept saying yes, one step at a time, and how there was that school that she wanted to be in. And I remember when she first started on her social media, she taught a dance class, and there'd be videos and pictures of all these kids, and she walked the walk with these kids, and she was a safe place. And then she had to happen to have that God ordained moment where she came in contact with the teacher, and there was that conversation about the pregnant student, and like she's like, I've got a place for them. Mm-hmm. I have the place. And she just keeps saying yes to whatever God puts in front of her. And I love it.
Yeah. And, she said yes to Embrace Grace. Mm-hmm. And then what that pastor said inspired this whole organization that she's starting. And I can't wait to see what that leads to. What does that lead to next? And how many lives are going to be impacted? It's just all about following the breadcrumbs of where God leads us.
Yeah.
And see what doors he opens up. So definitely check out what she's doing there. And we hope that you are inspired by the stories that we're sharing on this podcast. If you want more ideas on how you can help save lives, you can go to helperbebrave.com. Grab my new book, Help Her Be Brave, Discover Your Place in the Pro-Life Movement. It has over 300 ideas of how you can get involved. And I know that together we can make abortion unthinkable. So let's just work together on it. And also listen to this podcast. It's got so many great ideas. You can subscribe through iTunes or Spotify, or you can watch on YouTube. Share it with all your friends and get them involved as well, because it's better together. We can make more of an impact when we're working together in our own sweet spots where God puts special strengths, gifts, and talents inside of us to make a real difference, and we can help her be brave together. So thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.